we've seen the pandemic impact organizations and the workforce in 4 distinct phases. And this is something which a lot of HR tech, HR gurus have been talking about as well. The first clearly was around React, which happened when the first phase of COVID hit us, and we all had to move overnight to a work from home scenario. The second was really responding, which was really challenging organizations to put in processes to ensure that people could work effectively from home, and also help employees to collaborate and be flexible in a highly dispersed work environment. The third was really a good news, which helped organizations bring back when the lockdown was lifted and there was a fair amount of safety, and organizations started bringing employees back at work. Then obviously, you had to build and develop new protocols and so on to ensure that employees would be kept safe in their work environment. And finally was really the transform phase, which focused on helping organizations or ensuring that organizations would redefine or redesign their products and services and work experiences, keeping both employees and customers in mind to meet the new demands that was really emerging. And then, of course, we had the second wave, which set us back again, and we went through the same cycle, but perhaps with a different set of actions. However, Aseem, through this all, what has really happened is that the employee has come to the forefront in the organization. In fact, there are several organizations which have explicitly stated that it's now employees first and customers second. They've made those bold statements. And interestingly, employees and customers are actually 2 sides of the same coin. Because unless you have truly happy employees, you will always struggle to have satisfied customers. So what are some of the fundamentals of building a great culture and keeping employees engaged in these times and also in the post-pandemic world? To discuss culture as an anchor in the pandemic times, I have with me today Aseem Nath Tripathi, who is the Vice President of HR at Vestige Marketing. Aseem, welcome to the HR1 CHRO series. It's such a pleasure having you with me today.
Thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you.
So tell us how at Vestige you have made culture your anchor in these pandemic times. It'll be great to hear some of your thoughts.
Right. So Thomas, let me take you back 17 years back when Vestige was founded.
Okay.
Vestige was founded by 3 individuals and who have been first generation entrepreneurs, Mr. Bali, Mr. Sood, and Mr. Singh. And the very purpose of founding the foundation of Vestige has been because they had a shared belief in certain core values. And we have always been giving high premium on culture right from the inception till 17 years down the line. So much so that our logo, you can see double V. The logo is double V is Vestige values.
Fantastic.
So they are called Vestige values. And our business has always been more than numbers, customers. More than that, it has been about faith, trust, and confidence of the people, of the customers, and of the employees. But you know that the test of culture always happens at the time of adversity.
Absolutely.
But second wave of pandemic has really brought us with the uncertainties, challenges, and responsibilities. And it has called for a response which is unique and innovative. Our focus was always been in a couple of months that saving lives and then saving business. So we formed a COVID response committee, which met every day. Whatever suggestions this response, and this committee was not only constituted HR was one of the constituents, but all departments, people in the field, they were part of this committee. And whatever recommendation we used to get from the committee, we were implementing immediately without any delay. Then we also had a COVID helpline. And HR team, I personally gave the task to HR team that every day you need to talk to the people. One resource was dedicated to call the people, to create the database, how many people are positive, what kind of support they want, provide them a COVID immunity kit. Whenever person recovers and comes back, every individual in the Vestige is provided with a COVID immunity kit. We created the community support within Vestige. We made sure that people who want help, they are linked with the people who can give help. The first step we took, that we ensured that we had got immediately caring and supporting people in whatever ways possible. And that support came like an ECG, empathy, compassion, and gratitude. ECG, that kind of support is required, that we try to give that. We are doing a very unique session, which we call Samvad. Samvad sessions in which our top management, they meet the various departments individually, and we understand and listen to their issues, concern. These sessions are serving three purposes. Number one, direct communication with the management, with the employees. Second, appreciating their contribution to the company, and also solving their personal questions, personal queries, which we come across during those sessions.
Right.
We also did some vast session with positive employees. At one time, we have got 20s and 30s of positive employees. What we did, I personally did this session with one of my directors, in which we made all positive employees join this session, so that we formed a community that we are there with you. Nothing happened, have cool. And fortunately, all people were had a mild symptoms. So that really gave reassurance. Many people had got immediate problems, which we solved immediately in terms of providing the doctor consultation or some kind of good support they wanted. That really helped. Then to engage with the families of employees, we have been doing Kids Carnival, in which we invited performance of the kids of the employee members. This really gave them a sense of breather, non-work. So that was really popular, and that was very much appreciated. And, our trademark Vestige Radio, from last year, I do this Vestige Radio. Okay. It's an on-demand radio channel in which I talk to the employees at large across India. Right. We call a guest speaker as well. Right. We interact casually with the employees. We had a health bulletin running. It's a complete radio session for 1 hour. Very nice. Everybody is connected live on this session.
Very, very inspiring work you and the leadership team at Vestige have done. And I certainly have learned something new. What does ECG now stand for? That was really cool. Okay, now moving on to another topic, which is really critical to culture, is really leadership. Now, what's really happened is that we have now moved from a work from home, then it was a work from anywhere, and now it's a hybrid model that a lot of companies are adopting. Now, this continuous transition that's been happening also has brought to the forefront the struggles of managers, because managers at different levels now are leaders, right? It's not just the top leadership, but you have leadership across the board, and that's put a lot of pressure on sort of employees, because leaders now have learned, and many of them have learned they've learned how to work remotely, how to collaborate with their with sort of employees, how to work with teams. But it's not just about employees, it's also about families, right? And it's not just HR driving everything, but even the leaders down the line are really engaging with employees. Aseem, leadership is actually where culture starts. So while you have the top leadership, which is driving a lot of culture, it has to be sustained by leaders across the board. So Aseem, my question to you really is that how have you developed leaders across the hierarchy at Vestige, given this rapidly changing work and business environment?
Of course, this leadership doesn't mean that a leader should be a senior person. Anybody and everybody can have this leadership quality. Right. That an employee can wear 3 hats: individual contributor to deliver excellence, manager to drive synergy, and a leader to catalyze transformation. We have been driving leadership because, as you know, that our business is based on training to distributors and supporting them so that they can develop their business. So our teams here, not only in sales training, but also operations and all departments, We have been helping this team to develop that leadership qualities to lead their teams. And that for that, we have been providing that autonomy, that flexibility, and that kind of trust in them so that they can drive this behavior. So it all starts from the trust. As I told you, that trust is something which Vestige has been based, and that's the currency through which we operate. We have posed that trust in our managers, in our employees, that you are the guys who have been driving this culture of the company forward. Whatever support you require, company is there to provide you. Exhibit that behavior, which is a Vestige leadership behavior. We have defined that what this behavior is. It is sincerity, dynamism, and empathy. These are the three behaviors which we encourage and which we support. So their team has really responded well, Thomas. Of course, company has been providing all supports, but at the time of this adversity and pandemic, we have seen numerous examples in which people right from the senior positions to junior position, they have lived up to the expectation. We also appreciated and recognized the effort, because as you know that when you appreciate the effort of leadership effort, it encourages more leaders on the ground. So we last month we did a thanks campaign. All the team which are there in field, I especially requested my MD and the management to thank them for their great effort during this pandemic time, to not only to keep the business running, but also inspired their teams on delivering happiness. We gave them thanks card. We also gave them reward, and we also make sure that their stories we shared with everyone. So marketing teams really did wonderful job.
Fantastic initiatives are seen to build leadership right from the grassroots level, and I think you're spot on that it's in a crisis that leaders really emerge. And I think I'm sure you've done a fantastic job. Now, Aseem, I want to move on to another very important topic, which is really the conundrum between and the balance that you need to retain between productivity and culture in these times. And clearly, now employees are faced with a lot of distractions, right? I mean, there are family issues, health issues, and so on and so forth. And most importantly, there is a digital always on workplace, right? I mean, today it's very difficult for me to get through to a lot of people because they're on one video call after the other, right? I mean, it's like nonstop. That's on one hand. On the other hand, I'm getting a mixed reaction from a lot of business leaders. Now, some business leaders are saying that, look, this work from home and anywhere has actually enhanced productivity significantly. Then another set of people who I have met, very senior business leaders who have said that, okay, employees are working a lot, but we're not so sure about productivity. I mean, they are getting burnt out and stressed and so on and so forth. Now, companies have been investing a lot in, training people how to run meetings, how to manage teams remotely, how not to micromanage, because that's a big danger as well. People have started sort of micromanaging because they really did not know how to do these things remotely. And a lot of companies are also saying that, look, we need to set aside times when no meetings will happen, because that's a time when employees can refresh themselves, energize themselves, and stay away from these video conferences and so on. So it's this entire area of productivity is now becoming very, very important to, building the right culture and organization. So, there needs to be a balance between all this. So Aseem, how are you maintaining productivity while adapting to this new workplace model and still retaining on to the new concept of culture that has really emerged in a lot of organizations?
Monitoring of the team, definitely that was not possible because physical visits was not possible. We had got a 50+ locations in India. We've got physical presence, and our employees, they used to work. So when pandemic was not there, of course, we used to travel a lot. The teams used to travel a lot across all those locations to not only drive performance on the ground, support them, appreciate them, and help them. This was not possible. So that the nature of pandemic definitely restricted this kind of movement. Work from home challenge we didn't have because, as I told you, that our offices were working, except head office. But the challenge was definitely there in terms of maintaining productivity. Very right. So digitization has really helped us. Our IT team has really rose to the occasion. We had tried to digitize almost every process. Flexibility we provided to the managers that they can manage their teams as per their own comfort level. Right. Because they know that which team member wants rest, which team member is not in that great shape of physical or mental health. That flexibility we have always been providing to the managers and leaders so that they can drive team productively, at the same time ensuring that they are mentally and physically sound and engaged.
So from here, Aseem, I wanted to move on to another very interesting area, which is, linking how learning is also driving culture, and one of the things that we've seen is that there's been a significant boost in training in learning, which has happened in the last, 18 months. And I recollect 2 years ago, many of the learning management systems, learning experience providers were actually struggling to get any form of consumption of content. In fact, consumption of content was perhaps less than 10%. And then the pandemic came, and then there was a huge spike, and a lot of organizations had over 50% consumption, because I think people realize that the kind of skills you need in the new age is changing. So you got to pick up new skills. Plus, there was a lot of free content available, right? So I think there's been a huge spike. And there's a clear correlation between learning and engagement and performance, for sure. And it's also, of course, important for us to complement online with a lot of collaborative learning and projects and so on and so forth. So actually, learning has become a cornerstone for a lot of organizations to also build the right culture. So Aseem, what is your take on this, and how have you developed a culture of learning at Vestige?
We have been always giving lots of emphasis on the learning at Vestige, not only at employee level, but also at our business level. We have a learning department. We have got a learning manager, and we do training initiatives throughout the year. Very rightly, you said that especially during the lockdown, the consumption of the content increases. Right. Because people are a little more focused and little more easy. It is easy for us to make the content for them to understand. So definitely during the lockdown, we really took this opportunity. Last year, we encouraged this online learning courses for all employees. From all those online courses we did. As a company level as well, we drove lots of training. Earlier we used to do physical trainings. Our training team used to travel across all locations, but this really made us very easy during this pandemic because entire training turned digital. Imparting training is very easy, but ensuring the effectiveness of training is not so easy.
Absolutely.
Every training which we do, we have got complete cycle of training program here, which starts from diagnosis. Whenever we do a training program, we start from diagnosis, wherein we prepare approach note that why are we doing this training, what is the purpose of this training, and what kind of result are we expecting out of this training in terms of behavior. When we diagnose, then we discover the entire paradigm of the training. How do we do this training? Then we design in terms of pedagogy, and then we deliver, and then we evaluate, and then we observe. Post the training, we also do post-assessment. What are the changes in terms of the skills and knowledge the person has? Right. Then after a couple of months, we also do observation that suppose a training team, a team has been trained on a certain skills. Suppose a team has been trained on customer handling skills. And then we ask the managers to comment in terms of their behavior, in terms of those skills post the training.
Very, very impressive to see how you are actually tracking, because that's really the key, because it's easy to train, but difficult to see the impact. And that's very encouraging. So finally, Aseem, I just wanted to touch upon a topic which is also close to my heart, which is how are you leveraging HR technology at Vestige and, around culture and around any other specific areas how are you really leveraging? Because there's so much of investment now in HR technology that's happening. And a lot of companies are, looking at all kinds of solutions. So it'll be great to know how you are leveraging HR technology.
So I would really like to thank HR1 for this. So HR1 has been helping us from last 3 years, and we have been using this tool to effectively drive the culture of the company. And right from hire to retire, this platform is helping us at every step.
Right.
So especially if you talk about learning and appreciating, so the badges, I really like that the on-spot recognition, the badges that HR1 provides. It's really very helpful, especially during the pandemic, because everything is digital. Digital recognition is really helping. It also has helped us to create that delight in the employees, because everything, the new version, which is mobile friendly version, and where you can not only track the employees transaction, employees can manage their transaction on their own, but also they can value add. Managers, they get ready tools to manage their teams. So I really love this initiative section in HR1, in which you can drive initiatives. Vestige has always been emphasizing that every employee in the Vestige needs to take initiative. So initiatives are the only thing which can take the company to the higher, to bigger heights. So this I am encouraging personally, that employees they should use the initiative platform. And apart from that, since it gives us ease of managing transactions, so employees are more free to focus on day-to-day business rather than bothering about the day-to-day transactions in terms of HR. Definitely, HR1 is one tool which is helping us. HR1 ka, especially the social wall, I really love that. So we are using social wall very effectively, and every day employees wait for some update from HR, appreciation badges, key highlights from the companies. So this tool is really helping us to drive the culture of performance and trust in the company.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aseem. I think that was a wonderful conversation, and there is so much that I have personally learned from from this chat. And it's so impressive, the range of activities that are happening at Vestige to really build your culture, and both how it's helped you during the pandemic times, and it will come and hold you in great stead in the post pandemic phase as well. And I'm sure our viewers have also found it very inspiring. So for all our viewers, please stay tuned for more engaging conversations in our HR1 CHRO series with your host, Thomas Abraham. Until then, stay safe and goodbye.